Hello, everyone. Before we get started with today's podcast episode, let's go ahead and go over some housekeeping rules. If you're listening to this podcast on Spotify, be sure to hit the follow notification button so Spotify lets you know when I release a new episode. As well, leave me a comment on what you enjoy about the podcast and give me a 5-star rating. This is how you can support my podcast. And the disclaimer is I am not a licensed psychiatrist or therapist. My suggestions and my guests are based on general knowledge and life experiences. If you're considering making significant changes or dealing with personal issues, seek and talk to a licensed mental health professional. So let's go ahead and get into today's episode. Blessed Day Reflection by Abia listeners. My name is Abia Grant, and we are here to reflect on our life journey. We will be discussing topics related to self-awareness, self-improvement, and mental health. Also, the purpose of this safe space is for us to be free to discuss the ups and downs, celebrate the wins, and talk about ways to improve the lows. So welcome to this podcast, and I hope you gain something from this time we share together. Hello everyone, how you doing? It is your girl Abia Grant. Welcome back to another episode of Reflection by Abia. I hope that you guys are doing well and that you are having a blessed day. As you can hear, guys, we are back recording on our regular recording. What can I say? Recording way. We are back. I was actually able to fix my computer. So if you had listened to the podcast episode last week, I was discussing about how I was having some computer issues. I was actually able to fix the computer issue on my own without taking it to go get repaired. So yay, yay, yay. So that means that we are back to regularly recording and hopefully the audio is sounding better than it did last week. I apologize for that. But as you know, life is what it is. But I hope that you guys are doing well. I hope that whatever may be going on in your life, that, you're working through it. I'm glad that you're here and that you are, listening in to the people who come back every week. Thank you for coming and back, into the podcast and hearing me talk about all the things that is going on in my mind. And to the people who are new, hello, how you doing? My name is Abia Grant. On this episode or in this podcast, let me correct myself. We talk about a lot of things related to mental health. We talk about self-improvement, self-awareness. But lately, the podcast, I've been trying to expand it and talk about topics that just bother me or things that I think that needs to be discussed and not just limiting, things that I want to say to you guys or just vent about or learn about. So, just to let you know that if you are new here. So, now in today's episode, we are going to be talking about money. We are going to be talking about inflation. We're going to be talking about ways that I try to budget and kind of like what's next with our money. Now, the reason why I wanted to, this topic has been something I wanted to talk about for the past couple of weeks, but the reason why I wanted to have this discussion is because we all know that the economy is up and down. For the past, I want to say, I've been working for a minute, but I want to say from about 2007 into now, the economy has been in a up and down cycle. And a lot of people are living paycheck to paycheck, week to week or every 2 weeks, every 2 weeks. I know that a lot of people how they're able to survive is having like a two income household where both parties are having to work, like me and my husband. Both of us work full-time jobs, and we try to just make sure that the main things that need to be taken care of in our home is done. So a lot of people are in that boat, but then also there are a lot of single people out here and who are trying to basically make it on their own. And I it's an uncomfortable topic to talk about. You know what I mean? Now guys, if you do hear the background noise, just let you know my computer, the fan is cooling down the computer. Okay, it just stopped. Cuz I was like, I don't know if you guys may be hearing that in the background. But um I I'm always how I work my budget and how I am just in general is that I'm always trying to find ways to cut my budget. I'm always trying to find ways to reduce expenses because we want our money to work better for us. And like in conjunction to inflation, in conjunction to living to paycheck, in conjunction to sharing responsibilities, possibly with another party, and or by if you're by yourself, now all these responsibilities are on you. I feel like we gotta think about other ways to possibly bring in some money. So now the next thing I'm going to be talking about in this episode is passive income. Um, but passive income for something that's not going to stress you out. Okay. I feel like it's very important. Like we are already doing likely that 9 to 5 job that is stressing us out, and we are there just to get a paycheck. You understand what I'm saying? But honestly, if we could make our money somewhere else, you know, maybe we wouldn't be at that job. So it's very important. I know I'm like going in, but it's very important that whatever that second job is, that is something that you enjoy doing. So we're going to be getting into discussion about that. And then we're going to get into discussion about like 4 years from now, kind of like where is our money going to be? Like what possible opportunities can change? And I wanted to talk about this to just give me inspiration, give you guys inspiration as well too, that we can make this work. Like even though yes, it's very stressful, it can be very stressful. I mean, money, as they say, is that's one of the top reasons, not to go there, but one of the top reasons why marriages fail. It's finances. Outside of just, relationship issues, but money is one of the biggest things because we need money to survive. We got to pay our, rent. We got to pay electrical. We got to pay gas. We got to bring food in the house. We got to support whatever kids that we're having to support. Like money plays a very large thing. And a lot of people, most people cannot survive without having some type of income coming in. And that's whether you are the person who is going to work from a 9 to 5, to the person who is a taxi driver, to the person who is making money in other possible ways. We need money to survive. So let's go ahead and talk about this whole inflation situation. Because you know me, I like to come here with the facts. Really just talk about it and let's not run from it. Let's not be fearful of it because it is what it is. That's going to be my word for this week's episode. Now, based on information that I researched between the years of 2020 to 2024, inflation has been in a up and down cycle. So I mentioned that before. I was talking about from 2007 up until now, but I looked also between 2020 to 2024. Now, inflation in 2020 was at 1 to 2% range, and now in 2021, the whole COVID situation happened. Inflation raised to about 4 to 5%. And then in 2022, it was at a 9%. It was at a 9% because what was happening was goods were not being distributed like good they there was issue in getting goods out, as well as the cost of items after COVID. COVID really, I'll be honest with you, it screwed us. COVID screwed us in regards to many of us were either working from home, which I guess is good, but a lot of us were what is it called, furloughed, where you weren't working and you were maybe getting money from what is that called, that it's not called workers compensation, unemployment, in order to survive. Now, from 2023 up into now, inflation is at about 3 to 4%. So, what does that mean for the common food items? Because I say, you know what, we're just going to relate this to food. Like, great, it's nice seeing these percentages, or not great seeing the percentages, but we have that information. But let's look at the actual prices of things, okay? So, I looked at some of the common things that, people buy and or need. Let's look at the cost of eggs. Now, this was an average. These are all averages, okay? So now in 2020, the cost of eggs was $1.50 per dozen of eggs. Now we are in 2025, and the cost of eggs average are about $3 to $4 per dozen. So that's about $1.50 to $2.50 cost difference between 2020 and 2025. Now, milk. Milk in 2020 was $3.27, right? Now in 2025, milk is about $4. That is 73 cents cost difference between 2020 and 2025. Now, if you like me, I don't buy regular milk. I don't buy whole milk or 2% milk. I drink oat milk. Me and my husband, we drink oat milk. On average, that oat milk, I want to say, is about $4 to $5 each carton of milk. Now, I was talking to my husband about this yesterday because I was like that our we're supposed to be making sure that we're taking care of our body, and that, as we know, the cost of things are very high, and a lot of us cannot afford the very high prices. So therefore, we're having to get the cheaper items. But then now we have to worry about the impact of buying those cheaper items. So now we have to worry about, what it's going to do to our blood pressure, or what vitamins, is going to be implemented, or added, or not provided, because maybe what we're eating doesn't have that particular vitamin. I know that was one of the factors when I had went and had a physical last year, which reminds me I need to set up another physical. But yeah, so it's like you're trying to do better and make better decisions, but the things that you need to do to make the better decisions are more costly. So therefore, you just rely on the cheaper things, but then there's other things that are going to get impacted, possibly physically, because you're having to go with the cheaper items. Weight loss or weight gain is a big issue in the US, where people are going to the McDonald's, going to the fast food restaurants and everything, because it's cheaper. It's cheaper to go get $1 burger than possibly going to the store. You're going to get that same burger meat, and the burger meat is $5, $6 a pack. And that doesn't even include the bread, that doesn't include the condiments. You know what I mean? So, like, we could see it. So, a lot of people will go to the cheaper items. So now let's move on to the next thing. Gas. Gas in 2020 was $2.17 per gallon. Gas in 2025 is $3.50 per gallon on average. So now that is an increase of $1.33. Now let's talk about rent. Now this is when me and my husband got into really having this conversation yesterday, because I was shocked by this number. All right, so rent in 2020 was $1,200 per month on average. By 2025, or we're in 2025, Rent on average is $1,800 to $2,500 per month. So now that is an additional $600 to $1,300 increase between the years of 2020 and 2025. So now who's coming up with that money? So this is the reason why I say that a lot of people are doing two people, in a home, two, maybe a boyfriend and girlfriend, or maybe a family member or a close friend or something like that. Because who's making up that difference? Hypothetically speaking, let's say your rent is now 2,500. Who's making up that $1,300 difference? Do you have the $1,300 difference? Now I know what people are going to say, okay? Because I thought about this as well too. The cost of living increase. I know for me, in the past couple of years, especially since I guess you could say I've worked in not for profit in and out. Like even my company that I work for right now, I don't know, they're not non for profit. I think they're for profit, but we do get like a cost of living increase. Typically, it hits around June when they do the cycle of going over the budget, I believe, and everything. But that amount that they're giving you, it's pennies. Like I don't mean to be rude, but it's pennies because now we got to think about the transportation. I feel like every time the cost of living goes up, something else in your budget goes up. Like this year, we got the increase of cost of living, and then what happened? Transportation went up. So it's like you're giving me money that I'm supposed to have in order to survive, you know, as a US citizen, but then you're increasing, travel. So I know a lot of people would say, well, yeah, you get that increase from your job, but it's not an increase because something else is going on in your budget that you got to add more money to that maybe wasn't a factor a couple months ago. So like I said, it's a very annoying. It's very, very, very annoying when that happens because it happened to me. So now let's go ahead and get into how I pretty much set up my budget. I feel also it's very important to stay within your budget. It's very important to stay within your budget. Now, if you can budget less than the amount that, well, hopefully you're budgeting less, but you should never be budgeting more. But if you could be even budgeting less than your weekly paycheck or your every 2 weeks paycheck. Now, if you get paid monthly, I feel sorry for you, to be honest, with you. But if you get paid monthly, then that monthly paycheck, try to go underneath the amount. Wait, if you could get it really, if you could even save, I would say hypothetically speaking, $100 to $150, and that's factoring in your savings, okay? That's factoring in your savings. But if you can hold on to a little bit of money, then that would be great. Because I say that money that you're holding on to, you have to budget that for self-care. Or you could just throw self-care into the budget as well too. You can do that as well. Okay. But I just think it's very important that you have a budget. That's one of the most important things that, when I was growing up, my mom taught me very early on. I think I started learning how to budget in my first job. Like, I think even before that. Because my mom's like, I want to make sure that you understand how to make your money work for you, you know, and what you need to stay on top on, because when you become an adult, these are the responsibilities that you're going to have to, take on. So now, for me, each month I set up a budget for myself. It's in Excel, and there are two categories. One of the categories is household bills. The other category is personal bills. Now, in household bills, there are things like gas, electricity, water, Wi-Fi, which we're going to talk about as well too today. Let's go ahead and take a quick break. Hello, everyone. Thank you for tuning into Reflection by Abia. Feel free to check out the podcast Facebook and Instagram page. The links will be available in the show notes. Let's get back to the podcast. And then there's other obviously other expenses. Is that's not just it. There are other household expenses as well too. But in personal bills, you may see things like my car payment, transportation, gym, the phone bill, which is my mobile phone bill. You'll see that in the budget for personal bills as well as other things, too. It's not limited to that. I wish it was. I wish it was limited to just that, but it's not. Now, I get paid on a weekly basis. So, how I basically do my budget, and I did this yesterday because yesterday was Thursday, today's Friday, the 21st. But on Thursdays, when I get home from work, I sit down and I go over my budget. Okay. Now, also, what I do is I recheck all my accounts, everything or not, or all my bills. I recheck all my bills on the account. And if I need to make necessary adjustments in order to cover, just move money around or something like that, then I would do that on that day as well too. I like to do that prior to paying any bills because something may come in, something that you may have not thought was going to come in, or because I pay my bills on a weekly basis, sometimes there's credits and things like that that's applied to my account because I'm constantly paying every single week. Now, also what I do is those weeks, since I get paid weekly, okay, those weeks in which I receive an extra paycheck for that fifth week of the month, I use that paycheck to get ahead on bills. So I know some people may use that extra paycheck to pocket it because they only have to worry about, making payments for 4 weeks. I don't do that. I use that week to get ahead on the next month or whatever may be going on with that particular account. Okay. And this is what I do in order to get ahead, to be honest with you. Because it may be those week or that week where that thing may come up and your car, decides to do what it do, and now you're having to take money out from your weekly budget and then apply it to whatever's going on with the car. So, like I said, I use that week in order to get ahead in the event that something happens. I know some people who are a month ahead or 2 months ahead on their finances, which is excellent, excellent. That's where I'm trying to get to. I'm trying to be months ahead on payments, so it's not saying that it's out of sight, out of mind, but at least I know that it's taken care of, you know? So now, also, what I do is I try to cut down my expenses, okay? This week I sat down on President's Day. I believe it was this week. Don't get me to lying, but I believe it was President's Day. And I started going through my budget and I started looking at things in which I was like, okay, Abia, we got to cut down on. Now, I do have a lot of new expenses in my budget. This is the reason why I always say, again, it's very important to try to pay your bills ahead of time so that when things change, at least you have a little bit of breathing room to organize everything. So now let's get back into some of the expenses that I have cut this week. So my cellular phone bill, I decided to go with Mint Mobile. I haven't switched over yet. I'm still waiting for the card. I forgot what it's called. It's a card that they send you. I'm waiting for that to come in so I could officially switch over to Mint Mobile. Currently, right now, I have T-Mobile. I do have an unlimited plan. Same thing with Mint Mobile. I'm having a limited plan. However, my T-Mobile bill, I just finished paying off my phone. My iPad has been paid off as well too, a couple of months ago. But my T-Mobile bill is about 80 so dollars right now, and that's including taxes. However, Mint Mobile has a plan unlimited, and you're paying $40 a month. The only difference is that you're having to pay Mint Mobile ahead of time. What's happening with that is that I'm saving over 40 something dollars a month just by switching over to a different carrier. God willing, it's going to work out. But also, what I'm doing in conjunction to that is because I am obviously I come home, um, my phone runs off of Wi-Fi. At that time, I take time to download certain things onto my phone, whatever shows that I want to watch, whatever books that I want to read, or just so that if I'm out and about, if I'm bored, if I'm at work or whatever, I have, things on my phone that I can watch, that I can listen to without it affecting my data. So I'm trying to find ways and around this so that I can cut the bill down but not feel like it's me giving up everything that that I want to do, that I enjoy doing. Now, one of the other expenses that I cut down on is the Wi-Fi. I spoke about that earlier. So with the Wi-Fi, I have Xfinity, and I contacted them this week, and I was able to get the bill cut down from 120 something dollars down to about 60 something dollars. So that's a little over, I believe, 60 something dollars difference of income, or a bill that I was able to cut down money month. Oh, sorry. Let me get my words are getting a little bit tongue tied. I was able to cut down monthly. So now I can take that 60 something dollars and I can apply that to either another bill, I can apply that to savings, I can apply that to self-care, I can apply it to something else. Okay? So I suggest, one, make sure you're doing your budget. I suggest, two, make sure that you are checking to see what type of promotions, what type of plans may be out there that you can use instead of what you're using right currently, that's going to save you money. Find ways to work the system. Okay? Find ways to work the system. That's what I do. Now, also one of the things that I did is I went through all my subscriptions, every subscription. I recently had Spotify, unlimited music. I don't even listen to Spotify that much. Okay, I cut that off. That was like, I think that was maybe like $8 per month. I don't remember how much it was, but I cut that off. There was something else that I had. Oh, I remember. I had the Kindle app. The Kindle app was a little bit more than I think $11 a month. I cut that off because I was like, you know what? We are just going to go to the library and we're going to get audiobooks from the library, because now I like listening to audiobooks more so than reading a physical book. Like, I enjoy a good physical book, but audiobooks are awesome because I'm able to listen to it as I'm traveling, I'm on the train, I'm able to listen to it when I'm at work, so it's working out for me, and I could download it and have it on my phone and not have to worry about using the data or having to have a hotspot and all the rest of this stuff in order to listen to the things that I enjoy doing. So like I say, go through your subscriptions. You may not be able to cut all of them, but you may be able to cut some of them that you're not using day to day. Okay? Or if you got that cable bill and you got cable but you not home, maybe cut the cable off. You know what I'm saying? Because what's the point of having it if you're not there and you're at work majority all the time? And I know it sounds like you're giving up something, and you are. In reality, you are. You are giving up something, but you have to think about, how can I save money in order to make it? That's what we're trying to do out here, is we're trying to make it. Or maybe you call the cable company and see what promotions they may be running. I know for the Wi-Fi, that's what I did. And on top of that, the what do you call that? The speed of the Wi-Fi is faster with the plan that I have now than what I had before. So not only am I saving money, I'm also getting faster Wi-Fi connection, okay, than I had with the plan, or the service with the same company, and I was paying way more money. Because what was going to happen with that Wi-Fi, if they couldn't cut it down, I was gonna go to another company. It was gonna be with a B, because at the end of the day, I have to find the money from somewhere so that I can be able to survive, so that my husband could be able to survive. Okay? Because we want to do the trips, we want to do the things. So the money got to come from somewhere. All right, so now let's go ahead and get into how I am trying to make passive income. On occasion, sometimes I do DoorDash and Uber Eats. Now, I know to some people that may be like, "What? You know, oh, you out and working with people, blah blah blah." I live in the suburbs. Okay, um, I'm out in the suburbs. I'm not in the city. Everything is very different out here in the suburbs. Okay, and there is money to be made in the suburbs because everything is pretty far apart. People do not like driving. I I I'll raise my hand. I'm a Uber Eats. Well, I'm a Uber Eats. No, I'm a DoorDash client. I DoorDash as a driver sometimes, and I'm a DoorDash customer because sometimes I don't want to go to so and so place to go pick up my food. So I would DoorDash the food to me. So I do both. But like me and like others, sometimes you just don't want to go to the store because things are 15 minutes away or 20 minutes away. You know, um, even the other day, I wanted ice cream. And I was like, dang, I think, can I DoorDash some ice cream? Because I really didn't want to go anywhere. But then I Googled it, and Baskin Robbins was only like 7 minutes away from my house. So I decided, you know what? I'm just going to go in the car, go get the Baskin Robbins, and come back home. But I was really thinking about DoorDashing that Baskin Robbins to my house. So I didn't have to get dressed, and I didn't have to go outside. I'm going to be honest with you. So that's one of the ways that I try to make some passive income. Is it going to like put you over? Is it going to make you the most money? No, it's not going to make you the most money, but it's going to make you some money. Yes, I have savings. Yes, I have, money in my budget to apply towards the trip, but that's not what I want to do. What I'm going to do is I'm going to be door dashing and I'm going to make the money that way. And it's going to be extra funds that's coming in or what have you that I could apply to this trip that I plan to do. So I'm not having to dip into my savings. I'm not having to dip into whatever money I have is left over in my budget. DoorDashing and Uber Eats is something that I actually don't mind doing. It doesn't bother me. Maybe it would if I was in a city and people are different. But people in my town, in my area of Jersey, are not the same. Okay, so it's a different vibe. It's a different vibe. Okay, so now some other ways that you can possibly make some passive income. I figure, you know what? Let's throw that in there as well too. Is reselling stuff. I know people who purchase things like from the Goodwill or stores or secondhand and they resell the items. I know some people do that, or they buy things from an actual physical store like a Walmart or a Target, especially when they run sales and things like that, and they will resell the item online and they will make profit depending on, what they're selling the item at. Okay, so that's a possible passive income. Another possible passive income is making crafts. That's something that I used to do, which I don't have any time for now, because my lifestyle is just I'm just too busy. But you could make what I used to do was self-care items, so scrubs and soaps and body oils and things like that. Okay, that could be a possible way for you to make some type of passive income. Also, I enjoy doing it because it's something that I like doing. I like making items, self-care items. So, one of the other things I want to say is that I think I said this before earlier is that you want to make sure that your passive income is something that you enjoy doing. Okay? You shouldn't be doing something that you hate doing. All right. Another opportunity or another option that I jotted down here was selling digital products. I know some people sell digital products like on Etsy And maybe it could be some type of template or something like that. I know some people make like t-shirts. I'm not sure if that's really digital, but some people do like t-shirts from like T Publix or those different t-shirt companies out there, and that's the way they're making passive income. So there are opportunities out there that you can possibly make some money. I'm not saying that it's going to be a whole lot of money, but one, it's something that you enjoy. Some money is coming in, and you're able to apply that to something that you really want to do. Okay, so if you happen to again dip into your savings or dip into your regular finances every week, every month, or every week, every 2 weeks, every month. The last thing I want to talk about is 4 years from now. Where are we going to be 4 years from now? And this is where I'm trying to give the most hope. Because for me, I'll be honest with you, I thought that I would be way further than where I'm at right now. But at the same time, I'm okay. You know what I mean? I'm okay. So honestly, 4 years from now, it depends on the choices that you make. Are you finding ways in order to make more money? Are you actually saving money and paying off debt, or are you taking on more expenses? This is something that you need to, you know, make a decision now. Like, what do you want to do now that's going to impact you 4 years from now? You have to basically be smart about your money, but at the same time, being smart about your money and where you apply your money, that also factors in. I thought I had jotted it down here. I guess I didn't. But investments, like putting your money into a high yield savings account. Like some of my money is in a high yield savings account. Some of my money is in stocks, even though right now the stocks are not looking too good. I'm gonna be honest with you. The stocks are, I haven't checked in a couple of days, but stocks have been, something that I put my finances into. Also, I have a second high yield savings account. Okay. I have two high yield savings accounts to work off. One is for like day-to-day expenses, things that I may need to dip in there because something comes up that maybe I didn't budget for, or expense that I just didn't expect for it to happen. And then the other high yield savings account is something that I'm using towards retirement, because what I decided for me, and this is just me, is I don't want nobody holding on to my money. Like, if I need my money, I want my money. I don't want my money in some account where I gotta go through the whole rigmarole to get my money back. Because I had to do that when I had my 403B with my last job. And I know that it's a little different because that money you can invest and all the rest of that stuff. I get it. But I could put my money where I want to put my money. I'd rather have control. God forbid if something happens. I just want to have control over my finances. Okay. But everybody is different. You have to do what is best for you. So again, what decisions can you make now that's going to set you up better 4 years? That you're going to be in a better situation 4 years from now. Do it now. Don't wait. Even if it's a couple of dollars, even if you're just going through your budget and combing through your budget to see what's what with what, do it so that you can have a better future. Like I said, check all your bills, check your Wi-Fi, check your phone bill, check all of them. I know this when I have a time, I'm going to be calling a couple of other companies on my household bills. Like we have ADT. I want to call them and see if they have some type of promotion to get me either a cheaper rate, or maybe even change the device that I have downstairs, and maybe it'll be cheaper. I'm going to be calling PSE&G. I mean, good luck with that, but I'm going to call them, and I'm going to see ways that we could possibly get the electrical bill down and get the gas bill down. Making the call, you're just giving up your time, but it can't hurt. You're either going to get a no, saying, I'm sorry, we can't help you, or you're going to get, well, we have this opportunity. Do you want to do X, Y, and Z? Oh, this is how much that you can save per month. And now you got more money coming in than you thought that, you can save. Like when the stuff happened with the Wi-Fi. When she told me I could have 60 something dollar savings, I was like, she done made my day. She done made my day. So guys, that is where I'm going to leave this week's podcast episode. I hope that this episode was helpful for you. I hope that maybe I gave you some hope. I think I just repeated myself, but I hope that I gave you guys some hope and knowing that although, I'll be honest, the economy is a shit show, we can try our best to work with it as best as we can. And whatever that you need to do, make sure it's legal. But whatever that you need to do to survive out here, do what you need to do. As long as it's legal. I ain't telling you to go out there and do stuff, illegal things. As long as it's legal, I say go ahead and shoot for the stars. Because you never know what can come from it. Okay? All right, guys. So that's where I'm going to leave this week podcast episode. Stay blessed out there in those streets. Make sure that you treat others kindly out there in those streets. And God willing, I will talk to you guys in the next episode. Thank you for listening to Reflection by Abia. Let me know in the comments section what you thought about today's episode and share the podcast with your friends and family. The link will be available in the show notes.